Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, checking in with a weekly garden tour. I am so impressed with how amazing this back property border, which is really a part sun area, it gets morning exposure and afternoon shade, how well this is doing. This is a bed that Aiden and I planted in the throes of the heat and drought of last June. We really did it out of desperation because we didn't think that we would be able to keep the plants watered in the landscape plugs. We figured getting them put into the ground would be easier, and well, that decision was definitely the right one. So without further ado, let me turn this camera around and give you an up-close view of how everything is looking in the middle of April, right here in Fuquay Varina, North Carolina. Well, I'll confess, my biggest regret is not labeling. And I knew in the moment that I should, but we were so hot and exhausted and sort of desperate to get it done that we didn't label. But I know for sure this is penstemon. I know for sure this is phlox, doing great. That is heuchera, absolutely rockin'. I love this combination. I would actually be happy if the whole border was just that. But you can see there's agastaches growing really strong, and I'm debating on whether I should go ahead and just cut those in half to encourage them to divide a little. As we go down this way, there's a different phlox blooming here, and we've got the Cicerynchium coming up, and a fair amount of weeds in here. I think maybe some plants didn't make it, but nice to see Aquilegia, more agastache. I think this is an aster. Echinacea's coming. I have to say, I think the real star of the show is this heuchera. Everywhere where the heuchera is, it's just, the leaves are so robust. It's filled in the gaps so well. That is Chamaecyparis, and I think somebody said, is it Jim Dandy? And I think it might be, or it's one of those whipcord Chamaecyparis. That is not native, by the way. Just needed a placeholder for it, and it's doing wonderfully. I love this combination with the ferns and the heuchera together. And then we've got the 9-bark, the Physostegia, kind of popping out through there. And then that rhododendron has just knocked my socks off. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy that it's established and doing so well. I mean, look at all the flowers on it. It's just magnificent. It's such a treat to look out the kitchen window and see that in full flower. Now, it's funny. I feel like this is a weed, but I don't know, and so I haven't pulled it. And there's only one, which is why I think I didn't plant it, because, you know, I was planting in bulk. But I'm not sure if it's there on purpose or not. And, you know, I'm not really worried about the stuff growing in this pathway. Those are all cool season annuals, and they're gonna die soon enough. Ooh, I do see some stuff that has to get dealt with ASAP. I'm down to 3 days of being home, today included, and it's already midday. But I need to try my very best to get all of the cleaver out, this Velcro weed, because I don't want it to continuously seed and cause more and more trouble in the long haul. Of course, I can't get it on the other side of the fence, and so that's just part of the reality. But I'm gonna do my best today to scout out any of this and eradicate it. Well, back here in the woods, which I haven't paid no attention to whatsoever, I am kind of relieved to see that some trilliums are coming up. They didn't flower this year, and I think they just got too dry. Last summer it was so dry I couldn't water back here. It's just too many hoses attached. And you know, we put all the sod from out front, which I knew the centipede wouldn't transfer here. It's too shady, but at least it's holding stuff in place. Now, I don't understand why this got dumped here, and I am not okay with that. That needs to get raked out. This is not a dumping ground for stuff. Oh, I bet water did that. Yeah, I bet actually, because we've had some good rain, and I bet that actually washed downstream. Okay. Like, this is not a compost pile. This is a walkway. Always exciting to see the native plants in bloom, and glad to see that camellias are reflushing. I'm happy to see the big leaf magnolias are coming back, and hopefully the deer will leave them alone so they can grow a few feet and get established so I don't have to have all this cattle fence back here. The deer have really proven to me that I don't want to manage this space. I mean, they're causing so much trouble everywhere, but particularly back here, it seems futile to try and get things established. So I've just got to lean into what they don't bother and let those plants take over, like the disobedient plant, as I call it. Zizia starting to come up. Good to see the carex are coming back to life, which I'm pleased to see. And you know, again, I'm not weeding back here. I'm just kind of hands off, gonna see how everything fares. Fingers crossed we get some consistent rain while I'm gone, and that'll make a big difference for the success of everything in this woodland. So, you know, this side is predominantly native, not exclusively, but mostly native. But then, like, behind this shed here, these are all Asian species, so we've got a nice variegated Osmanthus fragrans and some camellia and a whole line of different Hydrangea macrophylla, and then the Feather Falls carex, which is really incredible. I absolutely love that plant. And then over here, we've got lots of other Asian plants, lots of hydrangeas that you could see. The hydrangeas, we weren't even that cold this year, but there's a lot of dieback on them. So I need to come through and do some cutting on this. It's likely I won't get that done before I leave, but there is a task to be accomplished. And then looking at the back side of the Blue House property border, it's amazing how lush everything is. You know, so much of this stuff is dormant all winter and it looks like it's empty. And then things come back to life very quickly and there isn't any extra room at all. And so that's good to be reminded of. You can see self-sown poppies have elongated and are really getting nice and tall. I don't have any in bloom yet, but I'm hoping maybe one or two will start to flower before I leave. I leave 1 week from today, so I might not see any. We'll see. Self-sown mustard looking great. This is just not really going to be a pathway for the garden tour. I think the day before, when I get home, my job is just going to be to strategically place pots to prevent people from walking in certain areas. I've just sort of had to come to terms with the fact that some places just aren't going to be accessible, and that's okay. Pleased to see the great ground plane coverage here. This bed, this was one of the last beds we did in February, and I really like the poppies and the lettuce and the arugula, which is starting to bolt, and of course all of the larkspur, which is not quite open yet, but starting to show color. So certainly by the next weekly garden tour, which I will record before I leave, we should have some beautiful larkspur to show off. This border is my #1 priority, and as soon as I'm done making this video, I am going to tackle this, and I'm so excited and I desperately need the instant gratification. So stay tuned for a video, hopefully a satisfying video of me cleaning this up, getting it mulched, identifying where the edge should be, and once and for all making this fence line make sense. Well, I organized the need to get planted section of my nursery and it's pretty robust, but aiming to get this done in June. We'll see. She says with trepidation. The borders here, not growing as robustly as I'd like to see, but again, you know, there was not a ton of organic matter added. And so I think these poppies will bloom, they'll just be smaller. But again, that is because of bed prep. Remember, this was sod until the end of December. And then we put down the compost that we had and got it seeded. So, you know, think of this as a cover crop installation. This is season 1. Every time that we plant more, the organic matter will continuously build, and eventually we'll have really fertile soil here for plants to thrive. Now, we did put more compost over on this side, and the plants over here are definitely responding to that. The crimson clover is growing really strong. The buckwheat, you can see how tall the buckwheat has gotten. And the poppies, I'm really pleased to see so many poppies in here. Good larkspur coverage. All of the heading vegetables that I planted are looking happy and healthy. And so again, for season 1 of this brand new bed, I'm really pleased with this cottage garden cover crop installation. And another first time planting bed here, which we did on February 2nd. Pleased to see good poppies, the native violets, lots of nigella coming. Now this is part of my plan to get this edge cleaned up, and then in any of the open areas, I actually have a few trays of cool season veggies that I'm gonna go ahead and get planted. So I've got celery, snapdragons, I've got some trial plants, some agastache and dianthus, and then some broccoli and cauliflower. So I'm gonna, once I'm done making this video, get on my hands and knees, do the weeding, get everything mulched, and then plug in any open areas with this stuff. I think that will really do the trick, and then I won't feel like I've wasted any plants. Again, I'm gonna get in here and really clean this bed up, but I just had to show you, I can't believe it, but these are sunflowers already germinating. So that's pretty crazy and really exciting. I've also got castor beans germinating. So it's already a fun mix of cool season and warm season together. The stuff that's blooming right now, that's all daikon radish. And I really appreciate that it's one of the earliest things to start blooming in the cottage garden mix. Well, I'm gonna break the weekly garden tours up into a couple segments just because, well, I'm running out of time to make videos and want to be able to have a little bit of content to share with all of you. I am gonna be traveling without technology, so I won't be posting updates from my adventure. I will be capturing photos and videos, but nothing will be posted, and I'll be completely offline for the month that I'm gone. And it's definitely a weird feeling. I've never done this before, but I think it'll be probably a really positive experience, but definitely a different habit to get into. So I just want to set the expectation for all of you that I'm going to be kind of gone for a good portion of spring. But I do look forward to making a safe return back to the US and being able to share my experience in Tasmania and New Zealand with all of you when I return. And I do hope that you will continue to tune in as I post more videos here from my home gardens in central North Carolina as we get into kind of the really rapid growing season of April. And again, I will be back sometime mid to late May. Well, everybody, I'm wishing you all the best. Thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.